Okay, here we are for a real quick and easy sharing appointment. Now, one of the documents I highly recommend is this one that is on our group website at ColleenBeller.com. Of course, password is pink with a capital P, and you will see it under the sharing tools. And actually, what it is, hopefully, you can see it on here. And it actually is a really easy tool that you can walk through with your customer, potential team member, and it just allows you to be sitting down real casual. You don't have to be worrying about what questions you're going to ask or how you're going to go from part A to part B to the close. I think honestly what I love about that is I know if you don't have a list of questions in front of you and you're talking with your potential team member and she's talking, sometimes we take ourselves out of that present moment of being able to listen because we're worried about, okay, what am I going to ask her next? What should I ask her? What kind of questions should I ask? But honestly, what this allows you is to just be in full listening mode. You'll see too in some of the notes it says how much am I listening? How much is my listening versus how much am I talking? And in a good sharing appointment, you just want to make sure you're a really good listener, and this allows you to do that. So anytime that you open up a sharing appointment, of course, it's always awesome and wonderful just to share with them your own purpose and your passion and what you're looking for. And what I might say is something like, Jessica, thank you so much for taking out this time to meet with me. I am so excited to share with you more about Mary Kay and what we have to offer, and of course what our team is doing. Oh my gosh, I am so excited. We are working really hard. We are totally going to wrap up the Pink Cadillac. We are looking to grow in this next year so that we can build in Ecuador starting next summer. Now, of course, our goals, we want to do that a lot sooner. So we are looking for sharp women just like yourself to do that. I am excited to share with you a little bit more because I'm hoping that this is something that is a fit for you. Now, of course, if it's not, don't worry at all. I know that you're a sharp person, and sharp people have other sharp people in their lives. So if for some reason it's not for you, I hope that you have some sharp people in your lives that if they're looking for something like this, I would be flattered if you were to refer them to me. So thank you so much for taking out the time to do this with me today. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to ask you to tell me just a little bit about yourself, and then I'll tell you a little bit about myself and my journey in Mary Kay. The third thing we'll do is I'll ask you some questions and have you I'll share some facts with you about our career. And then at the very end, I'm going to ask you if you, of course, would like to work with me. And there is no obligation whatsoever. I do get to choose who I work with. And of course, that's why I am excited to be talking with you, because I think you're a very sharp young lady. And I think that you would be fabulous for our team. But again, no obligation. I am just really excited to be sharing this with you. So I'm going to run through these questions if you don't mind. I'm also going to be taking some notes too because I want to learn a little bit about you. I want to take some notes about some of the things that we talk about. So first of all, tell me a little bit about yourself. Okay, so all you're doing is really you're stepping through these questions and you're just in full listening mode. Let her share about herself, what you're listening for too, especially in this first question of tell me about yourself. Listen for what she says. If she talks first about her career, then she's definitely much more of a career person. If she talks first about her kids, then definitely she is really so much more about her family and her kids. If she talks first about her faith, then you know that she has and wants to be sure that she has a really good connection with her faith. Whatever she brings up first is truly first at the top of her heart. And those are the sorts of things that you're looking for and definitely taking notes on. The other thing is taking notes when someone is talking to you. That's really huge because then they know that you are not just digesting and listening, but you find what they're saying is really important and you're writing those things down. So a couple of questions just as an example. What do you like best about your job or your current situation? That's the next one. What could you change if you could? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now based on your current goals and dreams? If you could create the perfect career for yourself, what are the top 3 things that would be most important? Are you a person that sees a cup that's half full or half empty? And at this point in life, what do you feel that you need most and value the most? And again, all of these things are written on here. Now, a little bit of the verbiage that you should probably get comfortable saying as well, is if someone answers that question, is to be able to say, well, tell me a little bit more about that. Tell me a little bit more about that. And that's going to help them kind of come out a little bit more of themselves. And it also shows them interest that you do want to hear. You do want to hear about them. So do get comfortable in adding that to your language. Tell me a little bit more about that. All right, so you'll walk through all of these questions. And then once you get to the end, the second step is me. Okay, I'm going to tell you just a little bit about myself and what I do. Now, this is very similar to our I story. So now you've just learned about her, what is most important to her and what she values the most. Now what you're going to do is this is your opportunity to connect and show some familiarity of what you went through your career. So for example, if you expressed to me, oh, I just moved here and I don't know anybody, and I do love my job, and and you kind of keep going back to, I just don't know anybody. Then, for example, what I would be telling about myself is a little bit of my story that relates to that. And I would say, well, I started my Mary Kay business soon after moving here from San Francisco. Gosh, that's been 20 years ago. And I did not know a soul, but most importantly, I did not know any women because, of course, my background, I worked with all men. I had never worked with women. So I did not know anyone at all when I moved here. I only knew the people at my job, which were all guys. And I love my job, but you know what happened in my life is I was working really hard. I was working a lot, and it was my tax accountant who had said to me, Colleen, you're working hard, you're working a lot, and you're writing a lot of big checks back to Uncle Sam. You need a tax write-off. And at the same time as he was saying that, one of the things in the back of my mind was, I would like to know more people. I would love to step out of my comfort zone and meet more women. I would love to be more comfortable about meeting people because I spent so much time at work that I didn't feel like I had that kind of know-how of how to just meet people when I'm out of work. So when he said that and gave me a list of things that I could do, and Mary Kay was on the list, I considered it. And I'll be honest with you, one of the biggest things that almost held me back is not knowing anybody. So here you can see that I'm making that connection. I did not know anyone at all. But my consultant told me that I would learn everything I needed to know, even how to meet people and how to build a customer base, even though I didn't know anyone, at my training. So that's just an example of how I make that connection. I tell my story to fit a little bit about maybe a match to what their experience is, what they value, and also if there's any little hesitation that you hear in what they're sharing with you, I kind of help to help out with that hesitation a little bit and sharing that part of my story. So that's the part you're going to tell about yourself. Don't make it too long. I would say that an I story is 2 minutes. That portion of it, I would say maybe not more than 5 minutes, because again, this is all about you learning about her and not so much you doing all the talking. So step number 3, I would love to tell you a little bit more about the facts. Okay, this is really, really key, because when you do a sharing appointment, there is so much to know about Mary Kay that what you don't want to do, and I know it's really exciting to have so much information about our company, but what you don't want to do is come across as a fire hydrant, like, ah! So this, actually, step 3, this is awesome. If I only had 5 minutes to share some facts with you about our Mary Kay career, what would you want to know? What are you most curious about? And usually she will give you 1, 2, or maybe at most 3 things. Usually it's about 1 or 2, and that's what you talk about. Literally, that's what you talk about, because really the way it works is whatever she brings up is what is most important to her. And if you can help fill her cup on what we have to offer that will assist her in that area, then you've just answered all of her questions. So truly, that is what you'll cover. You won't cover Mary Kay A to Z. You are just going to cover, what can I tell you if I only had a quick 5 minutes to share with you what's most important and that you're most curious about. That is your discussion, and it even says it right there, so it helps you walk through that. Okay, so once you've done that, you've actually just learned all about her. The next check boxes, actually you can work together with her through that, because you'll say, okay, we're going to see, I have a list here of the top 6 qualities that make a successful Mary Kay consultant. Let's take a look and see which ones apply to you. Okay, so let's see. The first one says busy people. Are you a busy person? And yes, you said you're a busy person. We're going to check that off. We know that busy people are the best ones to get things done in a short amount of time. So excellent. You make that first one. All right. The second one is they have more a month than money. You didn't mention anything on that, but would you say that would be true about you? Do you think that applies to you? And if she happens to ask, what does that mean? Well, more month than money means that you, with your current job and your current income, you tend to have so many bills and things that those get taken up first before your month has time to finish. So maybe by third week, your salary is covered so much, but then you still have groceries and you have things to take care of for the kids and that sort of thing. So more month than money. And let her answer that. And if she says no, then don't worry about it. Or you can check that off. So you're really just going to walk through those with her and see which ones apply. Okay, and then the last question on here, on a scale of 1 to 10, based on what you know so far, what is your current interest level in our opportunity? 1, meaning never in a million years, if I was starved on the street, I would never consider it. Or 10, this sounds kind of cool. I think I want to give it a try. And 5, that's like a total chicken weenie answer. You can't do 5 because 5 is totally confusing. So between 1 to 4 or 6 to 10, what would be your number? And let her answer that. All right, so whatever number she gives, if it's not a 10, you can ask her what holds you back from being a 10, say like she's an 8 or 9. Or if she's really low below that, you could say what holds you back from a higher number. That's actually on here too. And then of course the next question, so your questions to help you make a more thoughtful decision. Okay, so these are actually really excellent questions to ask, and I want to ask you the same questions as well. If you don't become a consultant, okay, let's back up. If you were to become a consultant today, where could you imagine yourself being in the next year? Say you became a consultant and, even you had a small amount of your business go great, or maybe it was really big and your business just took off. What could you imagine your life to be 1 year from now? What could you imagine that to be? And let her talk. Let her just kind of think about that and share with you what that is. And make notes on that. Okay? Then the next question is, so on the converse part of that, if you were not to be a consultant, where would you imagine yourself being a year from today? Now that is the big thinker, because most likely she'd be like, well, actually there'd be no effect on my life because nothing would change. I wouldn't be doing anything differently. Bingo. So reality is, what would someone have to lose to just give Mary Kay a try? With our 90% buyback guarantee, the $100 starter kit is actually a $10 decision. Mary Kay does take all the risk on getting started, and we help you go through all the steps. So if you don't start Mary Kay, that's true, probably nothing will change at all in your life. But imagine if you did start Mary Kay today, what could happen in your life and where it could be a year from now. Wow, look at all the things that you just mentioned to me. Things that you'd love to have for your family, the things that you could do for your kids, even maybe not have to do your full-time job anymore and have more time with your family and your kids. That's huge. That's huge. And it's a $10 decision just to give it a try and see if that might be in your future in a year from now.